Making a bird box is a simple and rewarding project, but there are 3 things that you need to know before you start to ensure that the birds who find it actually want to use it to raise their family in your garden. What type of birds you want to attract? How do you keep them safe from predators? And where's the best place to put it in your garden? We'll be answering all these questions and more and show you how to make a bird box that will attract birds to nest in your garden and not in your neighbour's. Hello, my name's Mark. Welcome to Artisan Woodworks. You'll need a bird box with a hole at the front for blue tits or house sparrows. 32mm is a good general size for many garden species, but you'll need an open fronted box for robins or pied wagtails. I'll show you how to make both types in this video. You can use whatever timber you like for this project, either planed or sawn. I'd recommend you don't use pressure treated. Although manufacturers will tell you it's perfectly safe for wildlife, the RSPB say not to use it. They're the experts, so I'm going with them. If you want to encourage birds in your garden to breed and to thrive, then why take a risk? So for this project, I'm using some 6x1 timber. This is prepared, so it's about 5.5 by 3/4 inch, just over. So the first thing to do is to roughly mark out our boards. We need the first bit to be 450mm long, and this will form the 2 sides. We'll be cutting this at an angle in a moment. So the next thing we want to do is to take our 450 long piece, marking 200mm on one side, 200mm on the other side, and then join them up with a diagonal line. And what this will do will give us 2 side walls with a slope from back to front to take the angle for the roof. So we'll make a mark 200mm on the top edge and 200mm on the bottom edge. And using our speed square, you could use any straight edge for this, but I'm going to use the speed square. We'll connect a line between the 2, and then when we cut that, we'll have 2 equal pieces for the 2 sides. It's important when we cut this one that we cut it directly on the line and not one side or the other, or we'll get 2 pieces of different sizes. Rotate the miter saw to approximately where we think it is, and then check it. That's not too bad. Just to come back this way just a touch, and that's about right. So we'll lock that off, and then make sure that our shadow line is sitting directly on the pencil mark and make our cut. So there we've got the 2 sides cut. You see if I flip that over, they're exactly the same. So now we'll cut the pieces to length at the miter saw. So for the next task, we need to mark a 40mm line from either end of the 350mm backboard. Just 40 at that end and 40 at that end. Square those off. So the first thing to do, we'll take one of our side pieces and we'll line this up so that the bottom of it, the square piece, is aligned with one end of the line. And then we'll do the same on the other side. Turn it around so you can see. Do that same on the other side. And then we need to check the width, the gap between the 2. Which is 102mm. We'll take another piece of our timber, cut it 102mm long, and that will fit exactly between the 2 walls in the gap that we have here. Next thing we're going to do is to drill some holes in the bottom of this for drainage. So we'll take it over to the drill press and do that now. Then we'll drill the holes out across the 5 positions. And then that leaves us with 5 holes, which will give us ample drainage for the nesting box. I've cut all the holes and I've run a countersink around each one, as you can see here, just to smooth it off, and also this will help with drainage and stop any water staying on the wood for any longer than it needs to. So the next thing to do is to glue and screw the sides to the back panel. We're going to be gluing it with some water resistant glue, and then fixing it on with a couple of wood screws just to keep it all in place. So we'll apply the glue, then put some clamps on to hold it in place while we countersink, and then screw the back panel onto the side wall. So now we'll take the clamps off and we'll do exactly the same with the other side wall. So we'll put some glue on either edge, don't need too much here. You'll notice the side wall is slightly bowed, so we're going to use a clamp to pull it together while we screw it in place. Up to now, the construction of the boxes has been exactly the same. In the next section, we'll make the box suitable for sparrows or blue tits, and then after that, we'll look at what you need to do if you want to make the box suitable for robins or wagtails. If you want to go to that point in the video, then jump to the time on screen now. So for the front panel, firstly, just finding the centre point by connecting the diagonals. Then we'll mark a line 150mm up from the bottom, and this will be where the centre of the entrance hole is. Taking this across to the drill press, just doing a starter so that the spade bit has somewhere to bite into. Then we'll turn the piece over and finish it from the other side so we don't get any tear out. And that's the hole done. Then we'll drill and countersink the holes on the front panel. So to make this fit better, I'm going to take this bottom corner off on the sander, just so this top edge sits tighter against the backboard. Adjust the table on the sander so that when we run it through, it'll cut off the material at an angle and give a much better fit. We're going to fix the lid on using a stainless steel hinge, just so that we've got easy access to clean the bird box out. Blue tits in particular won't nest in a box if it's got last year's nest in it, so it's worth cleaning them out once a year. I'm fixing the hinges in place using a self-centering drill bit. These are invaluable for hinge fitting. If you've ever tried to fit a door or a hinge on a box without one of these, it can be really difficult, and these are not very much money, so I really strongly recommend that you get some. I'll put a link in the description to where I got mine from. Then we'll just screw this together with some 12mm screws, and that's the lid done. Now, if you're doing the robin's nest, if you've jumped forward, welcome. If you were watching it all the way through, thank you. The main difference on the robin's nest is that the opening is just half the height of the front of the box. So the front wall only needs to be 100mm high, but we fix it in exactly the same way. Drew out some countersink holes and then glue and screw it into place. Okay, so we'll just give things a quick wipe off, take off the excess glue, and then we can move on to the lid. Because this one is open at the front, we don't need to hinge this lid, so we can just glue it and pin it into place. Just using a clamp, because that slightly bowed side that we had, just to pin it so it's square. And then give it a wipe off, and then that's the robin's nest finished. Here are the two boxes finished. You can put them up as they are, but they'll last much longer with some protection. I'll be painting the outside of these with some Cuprinol Garden Shades paint to match our fence. This gives up to 6 years protection and goes on very easily, and it's safe for wildlife once it's dry. Here's the robin's nest in place. I've put it into a patch of ivy and there's some grass in front which will grow up and give it cover, which the robins do prefer. The blue tip box is a little higher on the wall, about 5 feet off the ground. Here's a box we put up a couple of years ago, and you'll see here one of the residents from that time having their first look out at the world, and here's one of the hatchlings sitting on some trellis in the garden. So that's it for this one. Hope you've enjoyed it. Hope you get some great success attracting birds into your garden. They really are a great benefit, as well as being fantastic to look at. I'll be making some more garden projects soon, but in the meantime, here's something that you might want to make for inside of your house. I'll catch you next time.